Śrī Vyāsadeva said, what did you, Nārada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? Sorry, I'll read again. Śrī Vyāsadeva said, what did you do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? Purport. Vyasadeva himself was the disciple of Nārada, and therefore it was natural to be anxious to hear what Nārada did after initiation from the spiritual masters. He wanted to follow in Nārada's footsteps in order to attain to the same perfect stage of life. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor to the progressive path. This process is technically known as Saddharma Pracha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Śrī Vyāsadeva Gauravakunda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vyāsa uvāca, bhikṣubhir vipravasite, vijñānādeṣṭṛbhis tava, vartamāno vayasy ādye, tataḥ akarod bhavān. Śrī Vyāsadeva said, what did you do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth? In the purport, it's explained about inquiry. And Saddharma Pracha. Pracha means inquiry. When we say that material life is full of suffering, ignorance, misery, what is making it that? The main factor is ignorance. Ignorance about us, God, everything. So material life means we are blocked, we are covered. Avritim jnana metena, jnanino, nitya verina. Our eternal enemy has covered us. Nitya verina. Avritam jnanam. Our knowledge is covered. So now we are in a state of ignorance. We are in this world, we are born, some moham, we are completely bewildered. So in this state of ignorance, fear is born. Fear is born of ignorance, not knowing our environment, who we are, what is going on in this world. Now this is much more for people who are, for example, they are what we would call aborigines. They can't understand what is the sun, what is an earthquake, they can't understand. They can't understand what is an eclipse. They panic in an eclipse. So due to that ignorance, they are very fearful. And that fear is born of when anyone comes into their area, they shoot, they just kill them. Who are you? What you came for? We don't know. So material life is characterized by fear. And that fear is everywhere. We see in animals, we see in human, even animals. Out of fear, many animals attack, even kill us. It's out of fear. In proper culture, human civilization, one does not stay in ignorance. One should not stay in ignorance. And society has to be elevated. That's the duty of the king. The Kshatriya king is meant to impart knowledge, make sure that people are getting knowledge and elevating. They should not remain in ignorance. Then that's a waste of their human life. And that's the purpose of governance. What's the purpose of governance? Nowadays, it's who can help us to exploit material resources the most. We'll vote them in power. Who can increase prosperity, wealth, material development, position, status of the country, of the people. They are voted, they are considered a good leader, he is a good politician, we became rich under him. Yeah, but are we wondering what happens after death? Is anyone asking? Actually, the spiritual leaders meant to take us to a higher spiritual level. In Shastra, the definition of a fourth class person, Prabhupada says, fourth class. In other words, Shudra is Shochati. Shochati iti Shudra. One who's always lamenting, always in fear, always in anxiety. Now, if we look at that definition, then Kalo Shudra Sambhava. Everyone is a Shudra today in this creation, in the present material world. People are in ignorance. People don't understand how this world is working, what is going on. We don't understand. If someone's little intellectually inclined, they start to inquire. They start to inquire, and then they'll study this material world and this body. That's a good thing. It's showing some higher level. People are just on sensual level. How will I enjoy my senses? How will I enjoy my senses? Higher than that is the mental level. It's a little bit of contemplation. Okay, what is going on here in this world? And the higher, of course, intellectual level. When people are actually studying, actively seeking knowledge, and higher than that is spiritual level. But most people are in sensual level now. So when we get people who are a little keen, let's try to find out in this material world why we are here, what is going on. That is a good sign. And mostly when Prabhupada says this Krishna consciousness is meant for the intelligent class of people, he'll repeat this many times. He said, of course, it's for everyone, but in many quotes he says, it's for the intelligent class of people. We can't expect the mass of people to take it. But if 1% take it, the whole world will change. And that 1% is the people who are guiding the society. If we look at this world, we see so many people. Not everyone is guiding it. They are like sheep. They'll follow. You know, if the cricket star is wearing trousers, they'll wear trousers. If the cricket star is putting a tattoo with something, they'll follow him. Or the actor, they'll just follow. Most people are sheep. So that leader, we are aiming for the leaders. Intelligent class. This movement is meant for the intelligent class. Prabhupada said 1%. Some religious systems, they want to convert the planet. But that's not going to make some significant change. The point is purification of consciousness of the people who are guiding the society, because then they'll guide them properly. Otherwise, where are they guiding them? Ādye tanda upaniyamanina tebi ishatantriyam urudamni bada. Paradma says that the nate vidu sadgatim hi vishnu. Mass of people don't know the goal of life, but they surrendered to leaders who said, okay, lead me, take me to a higher position, take me to knowledge, to prosperity, take me to perfection. But the problem is they surrendered to people, tepi isha tantrayam urudamni bada. They are also, the people they surrendered to are bound. They don't have intelligence. Ādye tanda upaniyamanina. They are blind, leaders are blind, and when the leader falls in the ditch, everyone will follow in the ditch. So one has to come out of ignorance. Veda says, asatoma, sadgama, come out of the tamasoma, jyotirgama, come out of darkness. We should not live in ignorance. What is ignorance? Who am I? We don't know. Simple thing. We don't know what is the point of life. Why was everything created in this material world? For my enjoyment. Is it? Then how is it? Some have it, some don't have access to some facility, some have it. And how is it I'm not enjoying? So one has to come out of ignorance. And at a beginning level, people get that spark, we have to seek out. So they start to seek, but materially. Due to not having higher, proper guidance, they seek on material level. But the material problem is the problem. The solution cannot come from material level, because the material level is the problem. Matter is the problem, the material consciousness. And one has to come out of it. The source of that will pull us out of this should not be in it, in the material realm. Whether it's books, spiritual books, the personalities who are helping us, definition of the spiritual guide, Brahmanishtham. Brahmanishtham, fixed in Brahman. Shabde pare chanishnatham, Brahmani upashram, that is another one. Tasmad gurum prapadita jigyāsushe uttamam. Then? Can't hear you. No, sorry. Okay, you're not getting. So anyway, Brahmanishta means fixed in Brahman. They are thinking about the Supreme, acting on the Supreme level, contemplating, meditating about the spiritual knowledge. When they are fixed in Brahman, then they can pull us out, because they are not in that material level. That is one of the symptoms. So these people who are trying to elevate themselves, intellectuals in society, writing books, discussions, but it's all on material level. We can't really come out. We'll get some relief. Some relief, just like people in a prison, they'll come into another prison which they have more facility. We can get a TV, sofa, and we're allowed to get vegetables and cook or whatever. But we're still in the jail, but in a better facility. They'll be able to improve their material situation. But one has to come out through spiritual knowledge, through inquiry. Saddharma Pricha, Prabhupada writes. This process is known as Saddharma Pricha. That dharma, or that practice which leads us to Sat, eternality. Pricha is inquiry. Let us inquire how we can come out of this material world. That's the proper inquiry. But that's also high level. Then in order for that, at a mass scale, Prabhupada's idea that we introduce Varnashram. In Varnashram, there has to be a Brahminical class. And this Brahminical class, they'll be studying the Vedas and guiding the society according to the Vedas. Because we have a material body, there's a material society, we have to sort out economic, political and social aspect of society. Social arrangement, economic, people need money and prosperity, economic and political, some form of government. So the Brahmanas should do that. So Brahmanas have to be sattvic. One in a sattvic level, only he can get knowledge. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. When we are on a sattvic platform, then knowledge can come and manifest in us. And therefore it is so important that in the Gurukul system previously, the cleanliness, other things were taught, very much so. Shocham, that was Shuchi, Shocha, this was taught, that people had to come on this platform, otherwise we'll speak, but people won't get the knowledge, it will not come. So therefore, coming on that platform, Brahminical level, that culture had to be introduced, Brahminical culture. Srila Prabhupada, his idea was we'll reintroduce it here. And then sometimes people comment, okay, but in the West we cannot do. But so many comments are there. Prabhupada said, in the West also, we will start Brahminical lines of families, people who are following, so that the children are born properly, undergoing samskar, having clear intelligence to understand these topics and guide the society. Otherwise, a headless society. There's a famous quote of Srila Prabhupada. Many times he land and people come. Swamiji, why did you come to America? Why did you come here? So Prabhupada, one of the quotes, Swamiji, why did you come to Britain? To give you a head. To bring a Brahminical class. It's not there. The society is running around and very full speed and very much advancing. But where are they advancing? Where are we going? Very fast we are going. Where are we going? We advanced, we have technology, we have so many things, space research, okay, and then where are you going? Where is the society going? Do we know? We don't know. Which means all these people after death, what will happen to them? And Prabhupada said, well, what is the point if you just take birth as a dog after that? You nicely develop the society and the country, and next birth you take birth as a dog, and what's the point? Or some people, for example, we are meant to take vanaprastha and attain perfection, but till very end some people remain in the family. And then, because the idea is we want to provide for the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and then again, but what about us? What is our destination? So in terms of coming out of this ignorance, which is the source of our fear, anxiety and suffering, proper system has to be in place. First of all, individually, Srila Prabhupada initially taught Krishna consciousness. We can take it, okay. But on a mass scale, as Prabhupada said, they may not take it. So they have to organize society to at least come to a level of Satagun so they can properly understand the direction of the human life and live a proper sattvic life and set a proper platform for spiritual advancement, which can come later when it's set up. So when it comes to inquiry, by inquiry we can get knowledge. If we see in the Puranas, Upanishads, how is knowledge imparted? Even through Shruti, discussion between two people. And it's like the discussion is going on, I'm sitting and watching. When you're reading, he's asking a question, he's answering, we are sitting and we are also getting it. It's like that. Shukadeva Goswami inquired for 7 days. We got Srimad Bhagavatam. Arjuna inquired. I'm hearing different, but I think Prabhupada said half an hour. Bhagavad Gita was spoken. He was inquiring, and then Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Inquiry, jigyasa. We have to inquire. Pricha. Here the point is made, is inquiry from the spiritual master, from the Guru. Okay, in the beginning we may not have Guru, then we have maybe senior devotees or someone we're inquiring from. But we have to inquire. We may know or not know, but we have a lot of doubts. And because of those doubts, we are not surrendering, we are not advancing, we are not surrendering. Surrender takes time. We have to give up the attachment in the mind. Externally, we may not see. But that takes time. But it just time, if we just simply chant and follow, it will take a very long time. You can just chant, read. But if we start to pull out the weeds by inquiring and actively trying to understand, that's more powerful. Then that's faster. As Arjuna, he inquired to remove his doubt. Whatever doubt he had, he spoke, and Krishna spoke and eliminated the doubt, and he became Krishna conscious. Nashta moho smriti labdva. My illusion is gone. I got back my memory. What is my memory? I'm your servant. I have to do what you say. Karishe vachanam tava. Now I'll do what you say, because I'm not in illusion. But when I'm in illusion, it's difficult to follow. Again, we're not talking about Krishna, we're not talking even about Guru, because we're talking about whatever spiritual guidance we're getting through books, through devotees. For us to act on it, it's difficult because of doubts. Doubts are very dangerous. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, so many places, Krishna speaks and says, Yati nasti atra saṅśayah. There is no doubt. There is no doubt. I am supreme. There is no doubt. If you do this and this, you will be able to come to perfection. There is no doubt. Yati nasti atra saṅśayah. And this process will remove all the doubts. Where is it? Maya. I think Maya sakta partha yogam janmadashaya asaṅśayam. Without any doubt, without any anxiety, without saṅśaya. Many places, because this is stopping us. And that is born of ignorance. We are having ignorance now. Ignorance of who we are, who is God. So we have to find out who is God, who we are. Then there will be no doubt. Yes, I have to surrender. This is my duty. This is what I have to do. There is no other way. There is no other path. Actually, there is no other path. In the Veda, if you see, here, there's this path, or in material path, I can do this, I can do that. There is no other way. Actually, there is no way. But we're in illusion, we cannot see that. So through spiritual intelligence, it has to come out. That comes by inquiry. So we inquire. And we are seeing how people changed by these inquiries. Uddhav, in Uddhav Gita inquired also. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is inquiries. So we have to remove the doubts. For that we have to contemplate the philosophy and contemplate and apply it in practical life. Because it doesn't say here Nārada got knowledge. It says he got vipravasite, vijñāna. Vijñāna, word to a translation comes, scientific knowledge in transcendence. It wasn't simply knowledge, it was that deep realization which was imparted. That can only come in a Shrota Parampara, where the speaker is coming in proper sampradaya. He has to be, sometimes he's in sampradaya, but not following his sampradaya or his guru. Then again the chain is broken. So that's why Prabhupada set up ISKCON, that we know people are in ISKCON, they're following and everything. And, we can hear from anyone there. So scientific knowledge was given. Scientific is very, because simply knowledge is one thing, but we had to internalize and realize that knowledge, and that removes the doubts, the fear, the anxiety that we are stopping us from surrendering. Vita, raga, bhaya, krodha. Giving up fear, anger, attachment, people attain perfection. So, it is these texts that Srila Prabhupada has given, which he said for next 10,000 years, this will be the law books. This will tell, a law book means we have to know what is spirituality, what is religion, because Vedas say many things, apparently, but they're meant for different groups, different times and circumstances. Okay, so for us here now, what do? This is the Veda. This is it. Prabhupada has outlined the Bhagavad Puran, Bhagavad Gita. In this verse, Krishna Swadham Upagati, there. That verse, 1343. In the purport, Prabhupada writes that Krishna descended, and spoke Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Later on, he enacted this pastime where Bhagavatam was spoken. And in Kali Yuga, these two books are enough. Spoken by Krishna and about Krishna. These two books, he says, are enough. Then he writes exactly. In other words, if men in society today simply study these two books, they will get all perfection. So, inquiry from proper source, from Sri Guru. And what is the result? Nārada Muni heard, and Vyāsa is asking now, because Nārada Muni is the Guru of Vyāsa. He heard from his Guru, he attained perfection. So what did you do? Vyāsa said, what did you do after departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge, before beginning your present birth? Because Vyāsa is a disciple of Nārada. So I am going to follow what you did. I'll follow that procedure. Prabhupada writes that Vyāsa himself was a disciple of Nārada. Therefore, it was natural to be anxious to hear what Nārada did after initiation from the spiritual masters. He wanted to follow in Nārada's footsteps in order to attain the same perfect stage of life. So what did he do? It's explained here. Later we'll see what Nārada did. So Nārada Muni, after having gotten the knowledge, he systematically tried to detach from material society. We may not go, he left, we may not now go to the forest. Actually, there's no more forest now. Trees have been cut, and in the forest also you get mobile networks and people are coming, picnicking. So you can't go away anywhere really. So the system now is, when we talk about renouncing, there's no change in space. The place is the same, but the consciousness is different. Well, temporarily you may have to make a distance because friends and family won't allow to renounce. So temporarily maybe some other physical location and then visit and whatever. But the change we're talking about is consciousness. Yesterday we were saying a revolution in consciousness has to come. Our whole consciousness has to change. So by inquiring, the doubts go, the fear goes, and we are able to surrender. So the inquiry should be based on these texts that we are reading. I heard from one speaker in Bhagavatam, he said there are two types of questions. Those that take us to Krishna and away from Krishna. Some people inquire to try to actually make an excuse not to surrender and to punch a hole in the philosophy. Others are really, I want to come to Krishna and I'm inquiring, why is it like this? Why is it like that? So knowledge is revealed to them. So through this process, these doubts have to come. If they don't come, if they're not out, then anadi karma phale puriya bhavar jale. And we have taken many, many births and we have that karma in us. Anytime these things can cause havoc. So at the earliest time we should attack them through study of these shastras. Gita and Bhagavatam, what does it do? Hridyantasto hi abadani, destroys these things in our heart. From very long time we have so many things accumulated. And these are our enemies. Bhagavad Gita says, Vidhi enam hi vairinam. You should understand, Kamesha Krodesha Rajaguna Samudbhava, Mahashana Mahapapma, Vidhi enam hi vairinam. This is the enemy of the Jiva. Eternal enemy of the Jiva is sense gratification. So that, what is the difference between demon, devotee? One is centered on serving Krishna, other is centered on serving ourselves. And why is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says he's not going to kill anyone in Kali Yuga? Because everyone is a demon. Practically we all have sense gratification, desires. And we may, sometimes we class ourselves. There are two, Dvaimau Purushal, okay, Deva Asura Evacha. There are two types of entities, Deva and Asura. So what are we? Okay, we are Devas. I am not going to commit offense and call you Asura. We are Devas. Okay. But the problem is we have the seed of Asura in us, because the seeds of sense gratification are there. Anytime they'll come up and then we may not follow the path. So we have to address it. Turnam yateta naparte, Shastra says. Immediately take it, follow it, apply yourself. We should not postpone surrender and addressing these things. Turnam yateta nuprate anumrityu yavan. Anytime the body will die, so that time we should immediately take it up and destroy these tendencies. As Gita Mahatmya says, and when we speak of Bhagavad Gita, actually Gita, Bhagavad, Chaitanya, they are all Gita, they are all Bhagavatam. Bhagavat means in relation to Bhagavan. So, what is it in Naiva that Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Gita Shasamidam Punyam Yav Patet Prayatha Puman. By studying Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Yav Patet Prayatha Puman Vishnu Padam Avapnoti Vayashukadi. Actually, I got the wrong one, sorry. Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani Punarjanma Kritani Cha. Those sins will not act on you if we are studying Adhyayana, if we study Gita. Now what does study mean? We read, contemplate, apply it. If we see anything in daily life, we have to apply it. See, Gita says this about this. We have to connect it. That is Vijñāna. Jnana is I got the knowledge. Vijñāna is I learn, I have to apply it. I have to see it, connect it to it. When Prabhupada says, in life comes from life, that Krishna consciousness can be applied anywhere, everywhere. It should be. The scope is you can apply it in a political field, social, economic, everywhere. And we should apply it everywhere. So, these doubts and seeds of Asuric mentality, they are removed. It's given how to remove. That it says there Adhyayana. Adhyaya means study, self-study. Swadhyaya means self-study. Dhyayana means study and reading. Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani. Santi means existing. Naiva Santihi Papani Punarjanma Kritani Cha. The past sins are in our subtle body. They are waiting to react. When will they come out? It's planned. There's a plan. Depending on nakshatra, when we are born, we can even check our birth chart. They will act at the proper time. Maybe not this life, then next life. These sins are waiting to act, reactions. but they'll not act for somebody who is hearing Bhagavatam, thinking, discussing and applying. They'll not act. And I recall one quote Prabhupada asked, "Are you reading my books? No, are you studying my books?" "Yes, Prabhupada, I'm reading." "Not reading, are you studying?" Studying. So the verse, we have to connect the verses, we have to apply them. In Srimad Bhagavatam also there is that section where Arjun, he came back very morose, and Yudhishthira is asking, "What happened? What happened? Why are you so morose? Did this happen? Did that happen? Did this happen? Why are you morose?" One by one. So actually what had happened is Krishna had left. That was one thing. Second thing is Arjun couldn't protect himself from, literally some Vaishyas attacked and destroyed him. And he was not able to protect Krishna's wives. Of course there's a purpose to that, why that Leela happened. But anyway, he could not protect Krishna's wife, that's one thing. He lost his ability because Krishna had gone, but also Krishna had gone. So he was in great anxiety and depression. So then he says, "Now I remember the words spoken to me by Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And by remembering I am able to get relief." And Prabhupada writes then that Bhagavad Gita is spoken, but it should be applied and remembered in the proper time. We should be able to apply it. So only in that way can we come out, and so much literature has been given for this purpose. Discussions have been happening and we are there to hear and remove all the doubts and destroy, even by reading and studying, sinful reactions are destroyed just by hearing and studying this knowledge. So this is something that needs to be done. Now Vyāsadeva is inquiring. He wants to come to knowledge, and he's inquiring from Nārada, "What did you do in this situation? What did you do?" He wanted to follow properly, and Prabhupada is glorifying. He's saying, "This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is essential factor to progressive growth." It's essential. In 24 hours, for us, the most important hours are this: Mangalarti, Guru Puja and Bhagavatam class. And we should plan our day that this we should be fully able to absorb everything. And he says here, essential factor to progressive growth. This is technically known as Saddharma Pricha, inquiry into I'm not a scholar, but you can translate this many ways. Saddharma Pricha, inquiry into the eternal path, awakening the eternal dharma, or inquiring into the path by which I can attain eternality. That's it. Hare Krishna. Any question? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ekadashi Vrat ki jai.